We got bogus elections. We have bogus oligarchs that sit in our city council, sit in our Congress, sit in our state assembly. There's another quirk. 40 state senators for 40 million people. Do you really think 40 state senators representing 40 million people can actually talk, one each to a million of their constituents? Know anything about what's going on? Hell no. Of course not. Nor could the golden 80 in the state assembly possibly represent we the people. So what do we get? An overabundance of attorneys sucking up the money up in the state assembly and the state senate offices, taking the bribes under the table. I mean, come on. Do you really think that I am fooled because you had SBX 211 passed like crap through a goose in one day? That was the law that legalized bribing judges. 400 judges. 400 judges of Los Angeles on February of 2009 suddenly weren't criminals anymore for taking bribes from the County Corporation of Los Angeles, for which they also got paid an extra bonus. Click, click. And during 3.5 years of thousands and thousands of lawsuits, LA County Corporation that was paying the bribes of the 400 judges didn't lose a single case. Hello, ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. That money going under the table must be like a river. They must have wet pants all the time. The money's flowing. They got to just, you know, flush, flush, flush. I mean, think about this, people. These LA County judges bribed the lawyer buddies in the state assembly and the Senate. Remember, lawyers are overly represented. They may be less than 1% of the population, but in our state assembly, they're more than 30%. Something like 35%, I think, of the state Senate are lawyers. Yet they're less than 1% of the population. Is that what you call representative government? Why aren't there some garbage collectors elected? Why aren't there some TV talk show hosts on public access elected? Why aren't there some doctors, some dentists, some average Joes, some contractors? Why is there so many lawyers? They said in the Federalist Papers 200 and some years ago, if you have the same hands type group that dominate all three branches of government, you will lose your liberty. And that's exactly what has happened. We've had lawyers in the executive branch, we've had lawyers in the legislature, and of course the lawyers become judges and they totally control our crooked court system. That's why they can steal children now and say we're protecting them. We're protecting the poor little children because dad or mom isn't nice to them or doesn't do this or that for them. You know, this is bizarre what's happening in America today, but it's going to get more bizarre. It's going to get more bizarre. So, what is new today is the Conrad MURRAY trial. You know, that's the quack that has license suspended now in 2 or 3 states, who happened to brag to his girlfriend on the phone while Michael's dying, oh, honey this and honey that. And he brought the girlfriend, not his wife, who's still a doctor in Las Vegas, but Conrad, and I'm not throwing any moral aspirations on him for having 2 or 3 girlfriends plus a wife. I'm ignoring that. I'm just saying Michael Jackson was offering him $150,000 per month just to watch him sleep, just to help him get Propofol, which he shouldn't have been doing anyway, and I give you that. Michael shouldn't have been doing Propofol at home in the bedroom. It's a surgical drug to knock you out real quick, okay? Only done in hospitals and clinics. But he agreed to do it for $150,000 a month. Hey, JJ, would you watch somebody sleep and give them your undivided attention for 8 hours for $150,000 a month? I think JJ's good for that. How about you, Stephen? Would you? Stephen says he wouldn't give you propofol. No, he ain't going there. I'm not even going to ask Rob. But you get my point. I would, even not being a doctor. He said, watch me sleep for 8 hours a day. Give me this drip. And it's not an illegal drug, but it's only supposed to be used in a hospital. But make sure I don't die. I would sit there for 8 hours and stare at you with monitoring equipment, making sure you're breathing. And this Conrad Murray didn't have the visual alarm. He didn't have an audio alarm. He didn't have the drip set up right. It was like a quackery. He was experimenting at Michael's expense. And I agree with the prosecutor. Michael trusted him with his life, and it cost Michael his life.